There comes a moment in every man's life when he stands at the doorway of possibility, with his hand upon the knob, unsure whether to turn it or walk away. That moment, where doubt and desire collide, is sacred. Because in that very moment, God leans in. He watches to see if his child will speak the words that shake the gates of heaven, words that were whispered to the soul long before fear was ever learned. Now listen to me closely, because this isn't just philosophy. This is revelation. This is instruction for the soul that is tired of waiting, tired of struggling, tired of wondering why the doors remain closed while others walk into their destinies freely. God said, "Say this 3 times and all doors will open." He didn't say maybe. He didn't say some doors. He said ALL. But what is the phrase? What is the key? It is not a spell. It is not magic. It is divine alignment. It is the soul matching the frequency of heaven. The phrase is simple yet mighty. I am reedy Y. I am Moart HY. I am Kaladi. Let the power of those words sink in. I am R80Y. I am Art. I am Kaladi. Say it not just with your mouth, but with your spirit. Say it with every fiber of your being. Say it until doubt flees. Say it until mountains tremble. Say it until heaven responds. Now let me explain why this works. The first phrase, I am Re-ADY, is an announcement. It is the soul stepping out of fear and into faith. It is the spirit that is prepared in silence and now dares to speak. Readiness is not perfection. It is not having all the answers. It is the willingness to walk even when you cannot see the next step. The man who waits to be perfect will die in mediocrity. But the man who dares to declare, I am ready, forces the universe to rearrange itself in his favor. Too many people pray for opportunities while secretly hoping they won't come, because deep down, they are afraid they will not be able to handle it. But when you say, I am ready, you break the chains of hesitation. You force the mind to prepare, the heart to strengthen, and the soul to rise. And heaven responds to readiness like a king responds to the sound of a trumpet. Doors don't just open. They swing wide with honor. The second phrase, I am OHY, is the destruction of shame. It is the slaying of the giant called not enough. It is the loud, holy rebellion against the voice that says, who do you think you are? There are people who have studied more than you, worked longer than you, trained harder than you, and yet you, with your flaws, your past, your struggles, are the one God is calling. Why? Because worthiness is not earned, it is recognized. You are worthy not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. Say it, I am ORHY. Speak it until it becomes your identity, because no door can remain shut to the one who truly knows his worth. When the soul believes it is worthy, rejection is just redirection. Delay is just preparation, and closed doors become divine tests of character, not condemnation. The final phrase, I am Kal-Ed, is the banner of the chosen. It is the declaration that you have been handpicked by the Almighty for something that no man, no demon, no circumstance can cancel. Too often, people think being called means being comfortable. No, being called means you will be tested. You will be tried. You will be stretched, broken, humbled, and built again. But you will not be destroyed. Because the calling of God is irrevocable. It is fire in your bones. It is the reason you can't settle. The reason you feel restless in ordinary places. It is why closed doors frustrate you, because your spirit knows they don't belong shut. Say it again, I am MREDY, I am ORHY, I am Kaladi. Say it until the walls hear you. Say it until the chains fall off. Say it until heaven sends the signal to unlock every door you once thought was sealed. You see, this isn't just about opportunity. This is about alignment. When you speak those words, you are not just convincing yourself. You are reminding heaven of the agreement made before you were ever born. There's something powerful about the number 3, the Trinity. 3 days in the tomb before resurrection. 3 times Peter denied him, and 3 times he was restored. When you say something 3 times, you aren't just repeating. You are stamping it on your soul. You are commanding your reality to bow to your destiny. But here's the truth that most won't tell you. You must believe it before you see it. Faith is the currency of heaven. God will not open a door for the man who doubts his own key. You have to speak before you feel it. You have to move before you see it. The breakthrough does not come to the cautious. It comes to the courageous. There are those listening right now who have been stuck for years, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack identity. The moment you say, I am ready, heaven begins moving. The moment you say, I am worthy, guilt and shame begin fleeing. The moment you say, I am called, the atmosphere shifts, because you are not begging for open doors. You are commanding them, not arrogantly, but with divine authority, the same authority that raised the dead, parted the seas, and shut the mouths of lions. Now let me warn you, once you begin declaring this, your world will shake, not because you are cursed, but because everything that cannot come with you will begin to fall away. People will leave. Habits will die. Comfort will be replaced with challenge. Why? Because new doors require new versions of you. You cannot walk into destiny carrying doubt. You cannot step through divine doors wearing the garments of fear. You must be clothed in courage, drenched in belief, and anchored in identity. You were never meant to knock forever. At some point, you must realize you were born with the master key. God didn't bring you this far to tease you with hope. He brought you here to activate you. Say it again, slowly now. I am ready, I am worthy, I am called. Can you feel it now? The shift. That's not emotion. That's alignment. That's power rising. That's heaven answering. Every time you speak it, you drive a stake into the ground of doubt. You claim the territory of your future. You speak to doors that were shut not because they were locked, but because you never believed you could enter. But now, the key is in your hand. And the key is not in your background, your resume, your connections, or your resources. The key is your belief, your declaration, your divine agreement with heaven's truth. Say it in the morning when fear tries to shake you. Say it at night when your past haunts you. Say it when the world forgets your name. Say it when the mirror lies. Say it until every demon in hell knows you cannot be stopped. I am ready. I am worthy. I am called. That's your sword. That's key. That's your shield. That's your reminder. Now take the step, touch the door, speak the words, and watch what opens. Because once you start moving with these words in your mouth, you'll notice something strange. Resistance will rise. Not because you're off track, but because you're right on time. Every door worth walking through is guarded by fear, by doubt, by voices echoing from your past telling you, not you. But those voices are liars. They are echoes of a reality you no longer belong to. Every step you take after declaring, I am worthy, I am called, sends a signal into realms unseen. Angels begin moving. Resources begin shifting. People you've never met start talking about your name in rooms you've never entered. That's the power of spiritual alignment. The world has taught you to hustle. God teaches you to declare. The world told you to grind until your bones ache. God says speak until your soul awakens, because power doesn't always come through action. It often comes through identity. And when your identity is rooted in divine truth, you stop chasing things that were never assigned to you in the first place. You stop knocking on doors God never built for you. You stop measuring your value by other people's timelines. You step into the flow of purpose, and suddenly, delay becomes development, detours become divine lessons, and disappointment becomes fuel. There's someone listening who thinks it's too late, that they missed it, that too many years were wasted, too many wrong turns taken. But God doesn't operate on man's timeline. Heaven is not in a hurry, but it is never late. The moment you declare, I am ready, I am worthy, I am called, the clock resets. Grace takes over. The lost time is restored, not always in the way you expect, but in the way you need. And here's something you need to understand deeply. Doors don't open because you fight harder than others. Doors open because you have the faith to say the words when everything around you says otherwise. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they keep silent when they should have spoken. They shrink when they should have declared. They bow to fear when they were born to command mountains. But you are different. You are hearing this not by accident. You are being reminded of who you are. Because deep inside you, behind the fear, beneath the self-doubt, there is a warrior who knows they were made for something more. You don't need 1,000 confirmations. You don't need approval. You need alignment. And alignment comes by declaration. Let the storm rage. Let the odds stack. Let the critics mock. When your words are aligned with heaven, your victory is inevitable. It may not come overnight, but it will come. Because God honors the one who walks in truth, and nothing is more powerful than a human soul fully convinced of its calling. Say it while the tears fall. Say it when your voice shakes. Say it when you have nothing left to offer. That's when the power shows up. That's when the real breakthroughs begin, because this is more than just a mantra. It is a contract, a holy agreement between you and the one who called you by name. Too many people pray for open doors and then speak words of fear. That contradiction cancels power. You must speak life into every moment, life into your business, life into your relationships, life into your purpose. Every time you say, I am ready, I am worthy, I am called, you are breathing life into your future. And understand this, your words don't just affect you. They affect your lineage. Your children will rise on the foundations of your declarations. Your family will live in the atmosphere you create with your mouth. Your boldness creates blueprints. Your obedience builds bridges. When you speak these words, the ceiling becomes the floor for the next generation. You break curses. You silence lies. You build legacy. And God isn't just opening one door. He's opening doors within doors, levels within levels. Opportunities that lead to revelations, paths that seem to disappear until your feet touch them. But they don't appear until your voice does. You've been waiting for the door to move. The door has been waiting for your words, not just once, 3 times. Because the first time you say it, you challenge fear. The second time you confront your past. But the third time you believe it. And belief is the birthplace of miracles. There's something eternal about truth spoken in faith. It doesn't just affect your present. It alters your trajectory. It shapes how heaven interacts with your story. You think you're just saying words. No, you are setting spiritual laws into motion. You are placing your name on scrolls of purpose. You are inviting the impossible to take root in your life. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not trying to perform. You're not auditioning for favor. You already have it. That's why the words work. They come from someone who's already chosen, already loved, already called. But you must speak them with conviction. Speak them until you see the room change. Speak them until even the air feels different, until your energy shifts, until your habits change, until doors open and stay open, not because of force, but because of favor. And never forget, the most powerful doors in life are not physical. They are mental, emotional, and spiritual. Doors that lead out of fear. Doors that break addiction. Doors that restore joy. Doors that free you from needing validation. Those are the doors that change your life. And once they open, no man, no enemy, no mistake can close them, because they were never controlled by men to begin with. Speak it again. I am ready. I am worthy. I am called. Say it not like someone hoping, but like someone knowing. That is when the heavens respond. That is when purpose ignites. That is when everything changes. So now the choice is yours. You can walk out of this moment the same way you walked in, silent, hesitant, waiting for a sign, or you can recognize that this was the sign. That you are the one, that the words you've been waiting to hear were always in your own mouth. Because God has already said yes. The doors are already prepared. The way is already made. All that's left is for you to speak. Say it not just as a phrase, but as a lifestyle. Say it not just today, but every day, until every room you walk into must make space for your calling. I am ready. I am worthy. I am called. Say it until fear bows. Say it until your past loses power. Say it until the weight lifts and the doors swing open so wide you won't just walk through them. You'll run. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs voices of truth. It needs people of power. It needs souls who remember who they are. And if you're still breathing, you're not done. If you can still speak, you still have authority. So speak, declare, walk, and watch every door open. Not because of who you were, but because of who you dared to become.